Grey Power wants the driver licence renewal system for seniors overhauled. As it stands, once Kiwis reach the age of 75, they need to get signed off by their doctor in order to keep their driver's licence. But many GPs, they're using memory and cognitive tests to determine their fitness to drive. And it means many seniors with bad memories fail, even though they're still competent drivers. Joining us now is Grey Power's acting president, David Marshall. Thank you for joining us, David. On the face of it, I guess if you've got bad memory and bad cognition, I guess you call it, should you really be on the road?
Well, the issue is that the cognitive tests are not good indicators of driving ability, and that's been proven quite consistently in clinical studies. So while they're a useful tool to assess if someone has early stage dementia, they're not really an appropriate test for the majority of drivers for assessing how good they are at driving. And particularly for someone who has no record of accidents or anything like that.
But should someone who has early stage dementia, should they be driving?
If they are competent, and in that case, if they fail a test because the doctor believes that, knowing them, that they appear to have early stage dementia, then we see no reason why they shouldn't be assessed. But to assess all drivers going for renewal is creating a lot of unnecessary additional cost and worry for people who still pass when they do a practical test.
Because these cognitive and memory tests, they're not even mandated by NZTA or Waka Kotahi, so why are GPs doing them?
I think GPs have a very tough job, and they're dealing with patients they may have known for many years and have a good relationship with. And this is one of the jobs they hate doing, where they have to tell someone, well, I don't think your license should be renewed, and what the consequences are. So I think for some, they see it as perhaps an objective way of saying, well, you failed this. And I can understand that, but it's just been shown that they are not predictive of driving ability, and it really only should be used as an assessment for someone they suspect is showing signs of early dementia.
Okay, but for those who aren't showing signs of early dementia, they're still being referred to specialists and having to pay lots and lots of money. In those cognitive tests and memory tests that the GPs are they asking specific questions about the road code?
No. Well, let me just change that a little bit. Some GPs are asking a few questions about the road code, and they may not do a cognitive test. Others are doing their normal eyesight tests and general health questions, assessments, etc., and then do the cognitive test with no road code and no reference to driving record.
And what kind of questions are they asking in those cognitive tests that mean people fail?
They're basically memory things. So one of the ones that's most commonly used, you're given someone's name, their street address, their town and the district, and you have to remember that 3 times during the interview. You have to remember a whole list of grocery items, and you have to draw a clock face with a particular time. And those who are competent just get so frustrated and upset that they're under stress, knowing they don't want to lose their license, and may forget the address completely and then fail. And it's just the fear of that for people going in that they find really hard, particularly when they have friends who go to a doctor that does none of that. So
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would fail that test if a doctor made me do that. I would fail. So then if I was over the age of 75, I'd get referred to a specialist. And that's where it's hard because
not specifically. Okay. The GP has a few options. Theoretically, they could suggest restricting the license, but that's a discussion. The other is they are referred to an on-road safety test. Now, this is one of the issues that we have, that I'm living in a small town, Karikari, out of Tauranga, there is no testing available in the town. So they have to travel on the main highway through all the roadworks, uncertain travel time these days, into Tauranga to Mount Wanganui and do the test with a driving assessor in an environment that they're unfamiliar with. And we've asked NZTA, why can't the local driving instructors who are teaching our young people to drive assess them in their own town? And the answer is they're not qualified.
Okay, so I mean, it comes down to money, right? Because NZTA would need to spend money on qualifying those particular drivers. And it's expensive if they have to go and sit a test, and you've got to do it every 2 years.
Well, the expenses for that test is not a big issue. It's only about $23. It's the getting there and organising it, because there's getting longer waiting lists to get in, and it's not usually in your own town if you're in a small town or a rural area where you've got to go. So you're driving in an unfamiliar area, and we know that even to get your first licence, if you go in an unfamiliar area, there is more likelihood that you're going to fail. So there's that. The other area that a doctor can refer a person to is to an occupational therapist. And that means a visit that is going to cost $800 or more. I've had members who have paid $1,200, $1,300 for that assessment. And if they pass, and I had someone recently approached me who passed at 82, they're going for 84, and they're dreading they're going to be asked to do it again, in which case they just feel they can't afford it and the hassle, and they'll have to give up their licence.
Now we've got to leave it there, David. Thank you very much for your time. That is the acting president of Grey Power.